Awesome. So today's session is going to be a continuation of our mental health series. So this one specifically talks about what anxiety, depression, and substance abuse is, and how can that affect our overall well-being and mental health. So the first thing is just let's do a quick introduction of what the definition of mental health is. So according to the data and research, it is considered as a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It involves the ability to handle stress, relate to others, make decisions, and just like really navigate the challenges that we have to overcome as human beings and just how to live the day-to-day life. So, okay. So why is mental health important to you guys? If I would like each of you to share one thing about why is it important.
It's Naraya. Mental health is important because if somebody doesn't have like a good mental health, it can like affect their life really badly. Um, like anxiety
Mhm.
and like depression and stuff like that.
So you got to think about it. When you don't feel the best mentally, you're not feeling the best emotionally nor physically, right? And it feels like every
Hmm.
single thing that you're doing seems as a like a struggle, like everything is just like so much, even though it is not, right? Um,
Yes.
let's see. Maya, how about you? Why do you think mental health is important? And if you can
Um,
provide
like,
some examples, that'd be great too.
like what do you mean?
Like, why do you think mental health is important for people?
Um, because like it really like reflects on like how they show their like affection towards people.
Okay, so it's always people. I love that you said that because we cannot really make profound connections or have a healthy relationship with others if we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves and if we don't have the right mental health, right? Love that. Phoebe, how about you?
Mental health to me is important because like you like it's not just only about illness. Like for me, I think it's important because like it's also about like feeling confident and like joyful, like just just happy in general.
I
So like
love that. So I like how you're basically connecting mental health to the way that we see ourselves when it comes to like, having a high self-esteem or, having some confidence, having some, trust. I love that. Have you guys ever done the activity of doing some like self-affirmations, like one day, one time out of the day, I'm feeling powerful, I'm beautiful, I am strong, I'm intelligent. Have you done those kind of things?
no.
No?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, me, yeah. Like if I'm getting ready in the morning, I'd be like, I'm really cute.
And do you think that helps you have a better day?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like I'm not like looking up to par, then it like your mood goes down. But if you like get up, feel good, then your day is more better.
I can definitely say that I have had the same experiences, specifically when I do something that I feel afraid of. Let's say for me, I really struggled growing up with like um public speaking because I was always like so conscious of my accent. I was like so afraid of saying something the way that I was not supposed to be, or sounding a little like too Hispanic, or having like a very strong accent. So I'll say that I grew up having a very low self-esteem because of it. But I found out that throughout my college years, I have been getting so much better when it comes to public speaking and doing presentations. And I feel like one of the main reasons is because before doing a presentation, I go to a bathroom or I go to a space by myself and I'm just like looking in the mirror and I'm like, I got this. I'm capable. I did my research. Like I prepared for this and I know that I'm gonna do a great job. And I ended up doing a great job. So this goes to show that everyone is going to be nervous. Everyone is going to have some sense of like anxiety, but making sure that that doesn't really take over your entire life existence, but making sure that you know that this is something that everyone faces and that this is just for the moment. And it's just a matter of, affirming yourself that you're capable and that you have all the abilities and the knowledge that is needed for you to succeed. So I love that you gave that example, Naraya. So now, when it comes to why is mental health important, it says that because it helps you when it comes to the quality of life, when it comes to your physical health. So imagine somebody that doesn't feel the best mentally might not have the best physical body, or somebody that might have a great physical body, their mental health is not the best, the body's not going to stay as fit for a long period of time, right? Productivity and functioning, it really increases when you have a good mental health, when you feel good about yourself, when you're in a stable space, you feel a little more productive or a little more capable of doing certain things that you didn't feel that you were capable of before. When it comes to improving their relationships, and it's not just about having friendships, it's about having quality friendships or relationships. Like, how is this person adding positively into my life? And how am I also adding positivity into their life, right? It's always about not being a liability, right? You don't want to have anybody in your life that is taking from you, or you don't want to be just in somebody's life and just consistently taking from them, that being like the emotional or things like that, right? I believe that I mentioned in the last couple of sessions that I had a friend and he was consistently going through depression, and I did not know at that time, it was like 5 years ago, how to support him best because I never had a similar experience, or I never had the opportunity to deal with somebody that was going through a severe, mental health such as depression. And I felt like he was consistently draining me because he was crying every single day. He was just complaining every single day. And I just didn't have the ability or, the emotional capacity to handle something like that. So I felt like he was just consistently draining me, right? And then obviously that relationship didn't work out because I was not equipped with, the resources necessary for me to provide him the best I don't know, resource. So that definitely drained the relationship, the emotional well-being, like how are you feeling emotionally? Are you somebody that you are emotionally intelligent, meaning that you are able to identify your emotions, but also how to manage your emotions? Are you somebody that you just get angry very easily? Are you somebody that you get anxious very easily? Are you somebody that you're crying consistently? How do you deal with your emotions in a healthy way? Let's see. Hey, Kai, thank you for joining us. Oh, he's still joining. Let's see. Hey, Kai, please make sure to put your name in the chat so I can give you the attendance purposes for the attendance, I mean. Also, when it comes to the personal development, you cannot develop or grow as a person if you don't have the best mental health, right? It's basically similar to like self-sabotage that we discussed earlier in the program. Okay. So for the next slide, these are about the myths of mental health. And I thought that this slide was very important because I feel like people have like different misconceptions about mental health and what it looks like. So the first one is that mental health problems are uncommon. That is a myth. They're very common nowadays. There's a lot of people that have some sense of mental health. Either illnesses or um, things that impact them. The other one is that people with mental health conditions cannot work. That is a false statement. As we know, there's a lot of people that deal with depression and anxiety, and other mental health issues that can have a job, right? Mental health issues are a sign of weakness. That is false. That's just something that a lot of humans deal with that we just need to work towards improving. So I wouldn't say it's a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength because that means that there's a lot of more difficulties or challenges that you have to deal with, but it's just a matter of how you deal with those things. And something that I always like to say is that it's not a matter of um how it's gonna happen, but when. I have had a lot of moments in my life where I feel like I was not able to that I was, you know how when something's happening to you, that can be like a difficult breakup, either with like a romantic situation, a friendship, or having some family issues. And it's just like not a matter of like when, because I know that it is actually going to, get better, but just how, like how can I get through this? So I feel like if you get through that mindset, you're just gonna suffer for like a little, but then after that, you're gonna be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Um, the other ones, it says that only people without friends need therapy. That is not the case. That is a huge false statement. I believe that, in my opinion, I'm very pro therapy. I have taken therapy before in the last couple of years, and I recommend it to everyone because it's just basically having somebody that has the knowledge and the capacity to help you in a way that your friends or other family members might not help you, right? And it's just basically having somebody that can listen to you without any judgment, somebody that's there to see you improve yourself. So I love it. And something that I always say is just making sure that you don't feel as it doesn't work for you because you had a bad experiences. Make sure that you go to therapy. Maybe not one time, but try it like two, three times. And if it doesn't work out, don't just give up, but look for another therapy that has a therapy style that works best for you. Because some therapists might not just work for you. So I can give an example. My first therapist, I loved her. She was amazing. I had a great experience. She was a surprisingly a white woman, a queer white woman. And I just felt super comfortable in her space. She gave me amazing advice. Something that I like that she did is that she never told me exactly what to do, but she asked me questions, like very specific questions that made me reflect my behavior, made me want to change myself, right? Um, so that was very interesting. But unfortunately, she moved out of Connecticut, so I couldn't see her anymore. And then I had a a black male therapist, and I didn't like that experience. Why? Because I feel like sometimes because I was a woman and he was a male, some of the experiences that I was dealing with when it comes to like relationships, he didn't take it as serious as I was taking them. I don't know if that makes sense. So I feel like there was always a disconnect. So I discontinued my therapy sessions with him, but then I continued with somebody else. So this goes to show that there's some therapists that might work best for you and there's some therapists that might not work best for you, but it's not a matter of just giving up, but just continuing to find the right one. Make sense? The other one is that mental health problems are permanent. Sometimes it is not. It depends if you have, let's say, like a severe depression, then that might be permanent. Maybe somebody that has a bipolar disorder, maybe some disorders that they're permanent. But let's say for somebody that might have some anxiety or some not so serious depression, like that is not permanent. You're just going through a hard time in your life and you just have to, find the right outlet, healthy outlets for you to deal with those things, right? And the last one is that all people that have mental health are violent. That is not the case. So please don't think that everyone that has mental health is violent because that's what you see in the social media. No, that's not the case. Any questions or any comments in regards to the myths about mental health?
I never really like meet people who like have like mental health that are like violent. I never really met like in on social media that's different, but like in person, like they more usually like more like sad and like
Yeah, more like isolated, keep to themselves.
yeah.
It depends on what kind of disorder they have. Are there somebody that can be like extremely social, but then they have like stage fright and they get like very anxious when it comes to like presentations. Like it depends. There's it really it's like situation to situation, person to person. Like it depends. If somebody goes through a traumatic childhood experiences, if somebody was somebody sexually assaulted, was somebody raped, was somebody like what happened to them that made them act this way, right?
Yeah.
And it's all related to for those who suffer from like severe mental health illnesses, such as like severe depression. Sometimes it's just in regards to like a chemical in their brains, something similar to what Chanel has been teaching you in the class, um, right? So things like that. So that's a lot to keep in mind. So now, let's talk about the difference between having some mental health disorders and mental health illnesses. So disorders, they're just conditions that affect the person's thinking, feeling, and behavior and mood. They can vary depending on the severity, as I mentioned, also the duration and the impact on the daily functioning. Um, so they're usually characterized by the disturbances in like thoughts. Let's say when you have like consistently like negative thoughts, people that might be like suicidal, people that might have like very low self-esteem because they think of themselves like very poorly, somebody that cannot manage their emotions in the best appropriate way possible, right? So they can cause like significant distress or impairment when it comes to doing certain activities. So some of the key facts that I have included in the blue box below is that one in every eight people in the world, they live with a form of mental health disorder. So don't think because you guys might deal with some anxiety, depression, which I have dealt myself, and I know a lot of people that have dealt with those things before, that you're weird, that you're the only one. No, it's a very universal experience, and it's good that, people are raising awareness about things like this. It says that mental health disorders involve, oh, we did that. Let's see. There are many different mental health disorders, and effective prevention and treatment options exist, which is great. Depending on the disorder and the severity, which you're going to be discussing a little later, it can take a different variety of approaches. Some people they just go to therapy, and some people they actually go to both a therapist and a psychiatrist. It is good that you know the differences. The psychologist or the therapist only provides like emotional support, some guidance about like healthy outlets. How can you deal with your anger management a little better? And your psychiatrist, they connect both psychology and the chemicals in your brain and your body and mind. So the psychiatrist is the one that can prescribe you the pills such as the antidepressants, like the ADHD medicine and all those things, right? So the psychologists, they only provide the therapist. They cannot prescribe any medicine, but the psychiatrist is the one that prescribes the medicines. Okay. And the last,
Mm-hmm.
which is key and is very sad, is that due to the mm, healthcare system, there's some people that they do not have access to effective care. So really see the difference of somebody that might have both a therapist, a psychiatrist, and is currently working and dealing on how to improve themselves than somebody else that have any resources nor support system at all. Okay, so now let's talk about the difference between anxiety and the anxiety disorder. So anxiety is usually very normal and just is a human response that we have when we're facing like challenging situations. So going back to what I said earlier in my example, I was somebody that was had like super low self-esteem, and I was always like getting extremely anxious when it comes to the presentations. Like at that moment, I just feel like a little anxiety. It's the same way how you're meeting like a group new people and you feel like a little anxious, or when you're trying some new clothes and you are afraid that they won't fit you, you might feel like a little anxious. Or when you're at a wedding and you're getting married, or when you're graduating, or when you're walking for the first time in high heels in a public space, you might feel a little anxious, right? So that is completely normal. That doesn't mean that you have mental health issues, but that you're experiencing a human response to a stress, right? Or any like perceived threats. So let's say if your house is on fire, that doesn't mean that you have an anxiety disorder because of how you're acting. No, that's just a human response. That's your body telling you, hey, you have to go because your house is on fire, right? So once again, it helps when it comes to responding to stress or any perceived threats, right? In the same way that let's say a school shooting, which is unfortunately, you might feel a little anxious because your life is in danger, right? That makes you feel anxious. That doesn't mean that you have an anxiety disorder. And then when it comes to anxiety disorder, that is when anxiety becomes excessive, prolonged, which means that is for a longer period of time, or interferes with your daily life. Um, so that it can be when you're like excessively worried, like fear, apprehension, like and like those feelings are taken out of proportion. Like you're feeling this every single day at any single moment. So imagine somebody that just like cannot leave their house because they feel like something's gonna happen, or somebody that's in the classroom but they're consistently sweating and they're like there's consistently like they cannot be in crowds because they feel some kind of way, right? Like at that point they might have an anxiety disorder, they might have like a social anxiety disorder, like people that cannot be in crowds or people that are just like consistently shaking, like consistently feeling some type of way. Make sense? So once again, anxiety is just a human response that we deal with when we're facing stress or any like threat. And then anxiety disorder, and this was prolonged. So when it's happening like every single day, when it's happening consistent in a long period of time. Make sense?
My cousin has an anxiety disorder.
It's a social anxiety disorder.
No, like she worries a lot and she has like panic attacks,
Mhm.
stuff like that. She takes medicine for it though.
Yeah. One of my family members, they had like social anxiety, so they should take some medicine. They had depression, they had ADHD, they had every single thing that you can think of. So medicine really helps, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
Hopefully she gets better.
Yeah.
Awesome. So some of the common symptoms of anxiety can be like the physical symptoms, like some like the muscle tension, like when you're feeling like extremely like tense or like having like tight muscles. This usually happens as well when you're like very stressed. I get like my shoulders and my neck, like when I feel like very stressed, like when I have a lot of homework to do, when I have something important to do, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have the time to do it. Like my back hurts, my shoulders, my neck. It's so uncomfortable. And something that I want you to keep in mind is that there is definitely a connection with our brain chemistry, our responses to like anxiety, like threats, and the way that our body functions. So have you not seen that there's some people when they're very nervous, like their stomach hurts? Right? So it is very important for you to also know yourself. So there's some people like knowing how you deal with stress, right? Like what are some of the body parts that are being affected? For me, it's my back, shoulders, and neck. For some people, it might be like their stomach, like they have to go to the bathroom if something's happening. Some people might be like they get like extreme headaches when they're like very stressed or anxious. So it is good for you to find out like what are some of the body parts that are being affected when you are anxious or very stressed? The other physical symptom is fatigue. So that is somebody that's extremely tired or has like no energy whatsoever. The other one is wait, restlessness, whatever. I can't even say that. So somebody that has the inability to relax or like to sit still, like somebody that has to do something. I feel like it's a little related to like ADHD, like you cannot just like stop not doing something. The other one is increased heart rate. This is something that is all of you can relate to when you're very nervous, your heart just starts going crazy, right? The other one is sweating. There's a lot of people that they experience excessive sweating in stressful situations. I have had I have had friends or family members like their palms start sweating, like they just get like very sweaty. I have a friend that he just starts sweating and you can see like like he's like dripping. It's disgusting, but it's just like a body, reaction response to it. And then when it comes like the cognitive symptoms, just like excessive worry, as you mentioned before, Naraya, with your cousin, somebody that has like difficulty concentrating, racing thoughts. So that's when somebody's just like consistently thinking and thinking and thinking, they cannot stop thinking, right? So similar to an overthinker, the worst thing to have ever existed. I'm an overthinker, the worst.
Me
Um,
too,
the worst. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You know when you try
especially at night.
at night, you know when you try to stop thinking about something, but the more that you try to stop thinking about something, the more that you think about it, the worse. I hate it.
I be getting headaches sometimes.
I mean, at this point, I think I have like insomnia. Like I cannot sleep. Like I just think so much I cannot sleep, right? And then we also have what is called catastrophic thinking. So that is when you imagine like the worst case scenario that you can ever think of and happen. Like it's the worst. There's actually these completely forgot the name, but it's somebody that they think like the worst when it comes to, like the medical like outcomes. So let's say somebody has a headache, they're thinking, "Oh my God, I have cancer," or somebody that has like a minor injury or something, they think they're gonna die. Like that is an actual disease. Let me look it up. What is it? Let's
I
see.
think my friend has that. Well, not like that. Like if we're at places, she swears somebody like trying to get us. Like she be having no exit routes. I'm like, girl, we're good.
Let's see disorder. That is let's see. What is the name of this thing? Um, health. Let's see. There's this. Well, I cannot find it, but this is an actual disorder that people go through. I'm not sure the name of it. But it's fine. I can think about it later, right? So my question is, have any of you experienced any of like the anxiety symptoms that we just mentioned? I have experienced all of them, but the sweating, I don't sweat. That's something I don't sweat, so I never had any experiencing like sweating when I'm nervous. But everything else I get when it comes to like the muscle tension, fatigue, I'm always dying. Um, the one that I don't get, this is interesting. I don't get the restlessness. I don't get that. Like it's always I'm tired, I'm dying, I don't want to do anything, and that I don't sweat. But then everything else I get. So Naraya, how about you? Which ones do you get?
I don't get the muscle tension. I don't really have tight muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, yeah. And probably feeling like tired. Like, I don't really get that when I have anxiety. My mind be racing. So
Yeah. How about you, Phoebe?
I be getting fidgety like
So like you feel
moving,
like the restlessness, like you have to
yeah,
do.
like moving my hands, I have to move myself, like move like up and down, something like that. And my thoughts be like going out of the place. Like if I call you, you don't answer, I'm gonna think you're dead. So like it just yeah,
Mhm.
racing thoughts and
I have a question. This is something that I have experienced, but I want to know if this works for you. What do you do when you get anxious? I usually, before when I was dating someone, um, every single time that I was anxious, like I called him and I feel so much better. Now I have my mother. I have a beautiful relationship with my mother. So there's always somebody that I call when I'm anxious. Like when I'm thinking so much, like I need to like talk to somebody to like calm down. And to me, that was my person at the time. And then it was like my best friend. If he didn't pick up, it was my best friend. If not, then it's my other best friend. If not, my mother. Does that make sense? Or my cousin. My cousin is like one of my best friends, right? So what do you do to like deal with your anxiety? So mine is like I have to talk to somebody. There's so much going on in my mind that I cannot just keep it to myself. And they usually calm me down because they know who I am as a person. So it's pretty cool. How about you guys?
I see.
yeah, I probably like talk to somebody like my friend or like my boyfriend, somebody to get my mind off things.
Great. How about you, Kai?
No shade. I'm not the best person to ask, but I don't know how to really deal with my anxiety. I just keep to myself. I just don't like to be bothered. And yeah, I just like I try to just deal with it on my own.
So, quick question, have you considered taking some therapy? Is that something that you have thought of?
I've tried therapy like twice with two different people, and it's not for me, honestly. Like, I just don't like talking to people about my feelings.
Mm. Hmm. It's interesting. Something that I recommend you? I don't know if there's any like therapists that you're looking at specifically, maybe somebody that can, do you think that might have the same experiences as you? You can just look up what you're interested in online, and then it shows you a variety of different therapists that they can see you either for free or that might fall into your health insurance. So let's say I have a friend. She says that the only like she will not take just a therapist. Like it needs to be somebody that's queer, somebody that's Hispanic, somebody that has had like similar experiences as her for her to be able to like function, right? Because she doesn't want to have like a white cisgender person that's straight that hasn't dealt anything when it comes to, you know, sexuality of things that she's interested in working on, right? So making sure that you're not giving up when it comes to a therapist. Like maybe you can find somebody that you feel a little connected to. I feel like that's a good idea. Just because I don't think it's healthy to keep everything to yourself. I have had those experiences when I'm like depressed or when I'm like very anxious, I tend to like isolate myself, and that has not helped me at all, but made it even worse. So making sure that you're finding the right outlet for you. And if therapy is not the one for you, making sure that you find something that is a little healthy for you. That can be working out, that can be doing some yoga, that can be drawing, that can be any single thing that makes you feel so much better with yourself. So, definitely keep your options open when it comes to that. Just explore different things, and whatever works best for you, then that's what you do. Some people, they just like listening to music and they feel better.
What if it's like being by yourself?
And that makes you feel better.
Like, when I'm anxious, I just don't want to be around people. I don't want to socialize. I just want to be one with my thoughts.
Yeah. And I think that's healthy until it gets to the point of being like extremist. Like you're consistently isolating yourself, you're consistently feeling anxious, and like you're just staying by yourself and you have no social life, right? So making sure that you're finding what works best for you, but it's still helping you improve like who you are as a person. Because you don't want to stay stuck, right? You don't want to be anxious 24/7 and just being by yourself 24/7. You want to find healthy outlets that can help you feeling a little less anxious, or how can I do different things that might make me feel a little better, right? So what I
Hmm.
can, we usually had I believe that he's a psychologist, clinical psychologist. He used to like talk to the students. Would you guys be interested in having come for one of the mental health sessions, and he can talk about his perspective and what his resources and what he can offer to the youth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm gonna add it to my list, and then hopefully for the next 2 weeks we can have him coming. Just because I'm basically talking based on the research that I have done and my personal experiences with both mental health disorders or just anxiety, depression, and also my experiences with my therapist, which I have had three so far. So I do want to make sure that you guys are getting the right resources and knowledge from somebody that has a level of education, of a mental health therapist or a psychiatrist. So I'm gonna talk to my supervisor and see if we can get him for the next couple of weeks, since I know this is an interesting topic for you guys, okay? And let's continue.
Okay.
Do I talk too fast?
No.
Okay, because I feel like I talk too fast at times. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so next, so depression. So it's a lot of people have it in a very serious mental health condition. It is described as having persistent feelings of hopelessness, sadness, fatigue, um, and having basically a lack of interest in like the or anything or pleasure in the activities that you usually enjoy doing, right? So maybe somebody that they used to love like being in social settings, but now they feel so depressed and so anxious that they're just isolating themselves and that they don't enjoy doing any like social activity anymore. That's something that I have dealt with before. Um, so it definitely goes beyond like the typical ups and downs that people experience in their daily lives. So don't think that because you're sad one day, you're depressed. No, that's not the case. For you to be depressed, it takes a certain amount of time or consistent period, right? Some people we might be a little sad because let's say we were part of a friendship, but they're not friends with us anymore. We don't have depression. We're just like sad because something happened. Or let's say you have a bad grade. You're not depressed because you have a bad grade. You're just a little sad because you feel a little disappointed in your behavior or your performance, right? Maybe I don't know, you have gained a few pounds. You're not depressed. You're a little sad about, your behavior or performance, right? So things like that. So it's good to not just use the word depression for every single thing. So keep that in mind because experiencing sadness or suffering a little, it's very normal in the human life experience. Not all day we're gonna be happy. Not all day we're gonna be extremely hyper. And not all day we're gonna feel good about ourselves, right? It's always an up and down experience, which I think sucks, but hey, it is what it is. So there's different types of depression. So the first one is well, is a major depressive disorder, so the MDD. So that is defined by a combination of symptoms that can interfere with the ability of work, sleep, eating, and so on. The other one is a persistent depressive disorder, called dysthymia. So that is the most severe. So that's basically a chronic form of depression that can last at least 2 years, with the symptoms that may be less severe, but can last longer, right? So usually people that have depression, they also deal with some suicidal thoughts. So that's why it's very important to seek some medical help. Antidepressants help and other different forms of medication therapy can definitely help. And when it comes to um, if you're ever feeling suicidal, if you're thinking of ending your life, please make sure that you find somebody that can provide you with the right information or the resources. At the end, I do think that I have the suicide hotline. Um, you're valued. Your life brings a lot to, society, community, this universe. So please never make it feel like you are less than or as if your life is not worth anything. That is not the case. I love you guys already. Believe it or not, I love the sessions that we have together. So please make sure that you reach out to someone, right? You matter, you're important. And I'm just not saying this to say it, believe it or not. Okay, so what are some of the causes? So depression is often a result of a combination of genetic, biological, environmental, and some psychological factors. So as mentioned, that can be like trauma, like extreme trauma, like you were sexually assaulted, rape, childhood, you had like severe experiences, or major life changes, can also contribute to your mental health. Let's see. Wait, do we have any questions so far about this two different disorders?
No.
Okay. So as mentioned, for some of the symptoms, it's just persistent sadness. Like this is when you're sad 24/7 and there's nothing that you do that cannot make you sad. I experienced depression um for months. I think that was like 2, 3 years ago. I was going through a lot of difficult times in my life, my personal life. And when I tell you that I was sad 24/7, that if I saw a tree, I used to cry because of how beautiful it was. Like I was like dying. I have never been like this ever in my life. Thank God I got out of it. And that was obviously with like therapy and having like the right support system. But I was like crying 24/7 for like I'll say like more than 3 months. I was every single thing that you can think of, I was going through, and it was horrible. That was one of the worst experiences of my life. I lost interest in every single thing. I am very social. I was just consistently isolating myself. It was horrible. Changing the sleep pattern. I didn't sleep. I have insomnia. Um, So some changes in appetite. Some people they have significant weight loss or gain just because they can eat more or they can eat less, depending of the depression and who they are and how they feel. Feelings of worthlessness and guilt. Some people might have some self-shame or self-guilt because of something that happened and they blame themselves, which in reality, most likely it was not even their fault. Or just having persistent negative thoughts about oneself. And the last two, it's just difficulty concentrating. So, having issues like doing homework, like something that would take you like 30 minutes, takes you like 2, 3 hours to do. Having difficulty making any like simple decision. Physical symptoms, we talked about, the pain, digestive problems when aches and without any clear physical cause, right? So this is something very important. Your body usually tells you always when you're not the best, right? So when you don't have the best mental health or when you're going through like a difficult situation with the friendship or romantic, your body tells you. And I can talk a little about my experience. I was in a I wouldn't say toxic. I was in a situation with my partner where I didn't feel like comfortable. I didn't feel secure in the relationship, and I was consistently like getting like anxiety attacks all the time. But now with him, like I just by myself, I was just having anxiety attacks all the time. And I was like, I don't get it. I never had this in my life. But then I noticed that the more that I was with this person, the more anxious that I got, right? So making sure that you know that your body, your mind, everything's connected to each other. So if you're not feeling the best mentally, your body's gonna show it. That being that you lost a weight, that you gained a lot of weight, that you're feeling extremely anxious, that you're just like shaking out of nowhere. So making sure that you can identify those connections, right? And the biggest thing is identifying the root of the problem, right? I found out that, thank God, after I got out of that relationship, everything changed for the better, right? I feel so much better. I didn't have any anxiety attacks. I was not anxious at all. I actually feel very secure. My self-esteem increased. So making sure that we're also with like people that are adding to our life, not taking from us, right? As I mentioned earlier. And you guys can share if you feel comfortable. You don't have to. Are there any of the symptoms here that you have dealt with in the past? And if not, that's fine. And if yes, if you don't want to share, you don't have to because it's being recorded, right? So, keeping that in mind as well. No? Okay.
Miss,
Yes.
I have to use the bathroom, so I'll be back in like
Okay.
3 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So for the treatment for depression, I mentioned before, they use psychotherapy, they use some cognitive behavioral therapy, they can do medication such as antidepressants, or they can do a combination of the both, depending on how severe depression or your mental disorder is. Usually they do recommend some lifestyle changes, such as, um, exercising consistently, a healthy diet, adequate sleep, can also be very beneficial. As mentioned before, a psychologist is just the one that provides you with a psychotherapy. So those therapy sessions that you can talk to them or do any other um I don't know, cognitive therapy that they decide might be best for you. And then the psychiatrist is the one that provides you with the antidepressants and the medication, right? So now let's talk about substance abuse. I thought this was very important to discuss just because there is a connection when somebody who's like being like extremely depressed or having some like severe mental issues and using substance abuse as an outlet to escape from what they're feeling. Some people they cut themselves, some people they go to hardcore drugs, some people use weed, some people use cocaine, some people use heroin. So this is important for you to be able to get like the entire overview of what it looks like and making sure that you're using this information as a preventive care, right? Making sure that you know, hey, I'm feeling anxious, I might have some depression. Let me search up with let me research the right person or let me get the right resources for me to be able to help myself and to prevent me to get into substance abuse, right? So it is known as SUD. So it refers to the harmful or hazardous use of psychoactive substances, including alcohol or any illicit drugs, that can lead to addiction, chronic condition, characterized by compulsive drug seeking, continued use despite harmful consequences, and long-lasting changes in the brain. Something that I want to say that I had mentioned before in the beginning of the program, on the first sessions, is that even though weed is illegal in the state of Connecticut, it is legal for 21-year-old and plus, right? So keeping that in mind, I believe, I'm not sure, that minors might get um um medicine, like medical weed. I'm not sure how that works in the state of Connecticut, but that is why it's important to look up for a therapist or a psychiatrist that one can give you the prescription so they can provide you with the right information. Okay. So what are some of the symptoms? That can be loss of control, so having the inability to control yourself or to reduce the amount of the substance that you're using, neglect of responsibilities. So somebody that's neglecting work, school, family, and other responsibilities because they're so concentrating in using, and also because of the impact that that's doing to your brain and your physical abilities. Some social and interpersonal issues. So imagine somebody that's, let's see, um, I don't know, maybe somebody that's consistently using crack or heroin, they will not have the best relationships with their parents or their friends because nobody wants to be around somebody that is a hardcore abusing, you know what I mean? So making sure that you, wow, this is hard. Yeah, it's hard. The other thing is the tolerance. People that use hardcore drugs, they consistently have the need to increase the amounts of the substance to achieve the desired effect. Most people are looking to achieve what they got the first time that they tried it, but that's almost impossible. And also keeping in mind that the more that you increase the amount that you're consuming, the most likely you are to die or having an overdose, right? So it's never gonna get you to where you're looking to get. The last one is the withdrawal symptoms. They can be very difficult for somebody that has been excessively using hardcore drugs. So they experience, physical or psychological symptoms when the drug is reduced or stopped. But that is why it's important to have a good support system, have medical support, and have an environment that can help you get through that. Because it's definitely a physical and mental battle within yourself. And yeah, and the last line, it says that substance abuse can contribute to, as mentioned before, to the mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, and psychosis, and things like that. So for the treatment, this are one more slide, and after this, we're gonna watch a quick video. It's basically we're gonna watch the beginning of a documentary about substance abuse. We're just gonna watch it until 5:30, and after that, we can end the lesson, and then that's pretty much it. Okay. So for the
Okay.
so for the treatment for substance abuse, they typically involve a combination of behavioral therapy, counseling, and medication, depending on the case. Detoxification, that is when you withdraw the use of the substances. So that's when you feel the withdrawal symptoms, right? Support systems and groups such as Alcoholic Anonymous, so the AA, or Narcotics Anonymous, that's the NA. There's are groups that you can go anonymously in the sense that you don't have to sign in with your name. You don't have to say your name when you get there, while you talk with people that have had the similar experiences as you. Just open and honest and just listen from the experiences, and you can also share your experiences. And I think that can help you to feel that you're not the only one. And it can also help you when it comes to alleviate your self-shame or self-blame that you might be experiencing. And for the recovery, It's definitely a lifelong process. It's very long. So it often involves ongoing support, lifestyle changes, and addressing underlying issues. Let's say the reason why you were acting and you got depression was because you were sexually assaulted when you were younger, and now you chose the lifestyle of having substance abuse as a way to punish yourself or as a way to deal with the pain that you were dealing with since you were a child. But that's really truly not a solution. So making sure that you're also finding like what are the underlying issues, like why did I get to this point, and then now how can I move on and grow from this experience? Do we have any questions so far about this? No? Okay.
No.
So let's just watch 10 minutes of this documentary and then that'll be pretty much it, okay? Let me know if you can listen to this. Let's see.
Beneath the mountain
Can you hear that?
vistas.
Yeah.
And then pure fentanyl, it is fire. Like it is so dangerous. It's like the most horrid, wretched, pure terror you can imagine. And it feels like something slowly like just pulling your life force out of you. And then you get tunnel vision, starts getting smaller and smaller. And around this tunnel, it's just darkness, right? And then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, closes, and then you're dead. That's it.
You think you're dead?
No, you're dead. You're a flatline, no heartbeat, dead.
Vancouver, a city renowned for its natural beauty. A quote from the tourist board. But beneath the mountain vistas, the city has a tragic underbelly. Despite being known as one of the world's top 3 cities in which to live, a tiny neighborhood known as Downtown Eastside is experiencing a huge drug problem. Thousands of lives have been lost, and in nearly 9 out of 10 autopsies, a deadly new illicit drug has been present.
The painkiller fentanyl is now the #1 killer drug in the U.S.
You can die just by touching it.
Fentanyl.
A fatal dose of fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
The potent opioid that's supposed to tranquilize elephants.
A synthetic painkiller 100 times more powerful than morphine.
Just 2 milligrams of the pure drug, which is about 4 grains of salt, is enough to kill the average adult.
Prince died from a lethal amount of the painkiller fentanyl.
10-year-old boy in Florida has become one of the youngest.
More than 63,000 people died of monster drug kills far more people than gun violence.
And if you don't know what fentanyl is, it is basically the new heroin, but much, much stronger.
Not regulated, and we're the ones dying. Life down here.
Hey, what's up, bro? Not a whole lot. I'm on a documentary right now, brother. I'm on a documentary here talking about opioid use and shit. Yeah. I'll come talk to you in a minute. Hey, wait down here. I gotta talk to you, bro. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Just another fellow bro in the hood, you know.
Friend of yours?
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
Do you know?
No, that doesn't matter. Ask no questions, I'll tell no lies.
Here in downtown Eastside, addiction is nothing new. Heroin has flowed through Vancouver's ports to this deprived part of town since the 1970s. But market forces have seen that heroin supply replaced. Fentanyl is stronger, cheaper, and much less bulky to import. Where are we going, Kevin?
Where would you like to go? Do you want to see what it's really like?
Sure.
Let's go. Let's go.
This is East Hastings Street now. This is where the ghetto starts, basically.
What you're looking at
is the mecca of drug addiction. We have been an active narcotics hub for ever since I can remember. Maybe that's why I came here. I know, yeah, that's probably why I came here.
Illicit fentanyl hasn't flooded the street drug supply outside North America yet. Do you think this could become a global problem? And if it does, what should people expect?
Death. Lots of fucking death. People are gonna die, and it's not gonna be pretty. It is wildfire. People will try it, love it, and they'll never quit. These streets were crowded. You're talking about 1,500, 2,000 people died just in this block. I'ma put my guns to the ground. Our government knows what's killing them. Now, I've seen our government address an epidemic before, SARS. They spent multiple millions of dollars to keep us safe from SARS. Any idea how many people died from SARS? I know, 14 people died from SARS. We lost 14 people last fucking week, right?
This is a huge problem. The United States lost 72,000 people in overdose death last year. Canada lost 8,000. All right, these are large numbers of people dying of a preventable death, and it will not be any different in Australia, United Kingdom, anywhere in the Western world.
It's just, it's inevitable. It is. I mean, this stuff will kill you.
If I wanted to buy fentanyl right now, how easy would that be?
Well, it would pretty much be simple for you to get fentanyl and be impossible for you to get heroin. Because that's what it's all fentanyl now. Even if there is heroin, it's got fentanyl in it.
How far do you reckon we are from a drug dealer?
Feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One drug dealer or a lot?
A lot. A lot. But, you know.
What's your name, buddy?
Sylvester.
And what are you doing hanging out on the street corner here, Sylvester?
Selling fentanyl, you know, trying to get by. I live on the streets, so I got to make a living somehow. I don't want to rob stores or nothing. I've got about 10 years in the pen. This way here, I stay out.
And how's business? Are you selling a lot?
Booming, man. Like, you can never have enough.
So how many people are buying fentanyl from you each day?
100, 150.
Every day?
Every day.
Is the dealing here quite organized? Is there like a bit of a kind of chain of command to it?
Yeah. Different gangs run different alleys. I'm on a 12-hour shift.
How do you get that job? Because I don't think they're advertising that in the newspaper, right?
No. It's through connections, mostly coming out of jail.
What's fentanyl done to the community around here?
Destroyed it. I lost like 40 people that I know well close to me in the last 3 years. People never did drugs in their life, picked it up once, dead.
From fentanyl?
From fentanyl.
Is it possible any of them got that fentanyl from you?
Possible.
Does that bother you?
To an extent, but they're going to get this from somebody, right?
I mean, I guess apart from anything else, it's not great business practice to be killing your customers, right?
No. I don't think anybody wanted anybody to die, but the thing is, heroin, it used to come in as heroin. This fentanyl, we're making it ourselves. You go online on the dark web, you order an ounce of fentanyl from China, it costs you $350, pay an extra $50, the next day it's delivered right to your door. You take that $400 worth of fentanyl,
yeah,
and you make 1,000 grams of down.
Yeah.
And you're getting anywhere between 100 and 120 per gram. So do the math.
Jesus. It's like mining diamonds, isn't it?
Yeah. Like gold. You're taking $400 and you're making 100 grand.
But while it's lucrative, illicit street fentanyl is often being cooked by amateur gangsters in their basements. They're making the recipe up as they go along, and the final product is synthetic and wildly inconsistent. Customers here told us that what they buy on the street can be any color of the rainbow.
That's what, like right now, everybody wants the dark green. They come up and ask you got the dark green? If you don't got it, they shop around.
Why do they want that?
Because that's the highest fentanyl.
But that's also the shit that's killing people, right?
Yeah. You're playing Russian roulette.
And people are comfortable to take that risk.
As soon as they know that stuff's dropping people, they're running to you. Who got that green stuff? because they think they're the ones that can take half of it or a quarter of it, or
And if people are dying from it, then it must be good shit. Is that the logic?
that's the logic. Last night, this girl just came out of detox, and I knew she just got back. She's all healthy and everything. She sees me. Oh, Sylvester, come running up. Give me a point. I said, you just got out, didn't you? I just got out 2 hours ago. I said, what do you want a point for? Oh, I'm just going to use a little bit of it and have some for tomorrow. I said, don't use it all because you know your tolerance is. No, I won't. 10 minutes later, the ambulance in the alley. They were working on her. I don't know if she lived or died. I don't know. Ambulance come, please come. I leave.
Okay, so what have you learned from this video? I know it was very short. If you want, I can send the link later so you can finish it. Hello?
Wait, say it again, miss. It kind of went out.
What do you see in the video? Yeah, what do you learn from the video?
Oh, what did I see in the video? Oh, that drugs can have a bad effect on you. Like, really bad.
Wow, Naraya, you have to be a poet or something. Okay, awesome. So that was pretty much it. So the video showed the life of some people in the neighborhood that have been experiencing some substance abuse. As you could see, the last example that he mentioned, it was that somebody just got out of the detox center, and the first thing that she did was just ask for some more, and most likely she's now dead. But this shows also how difficult it is to get over some substance abuse, and how bad can the withdrawal symptoms be, and also how addicting it really is. Are some of the illicit drugs that people are consuming nowadays, and also how lethal, meaning how easy it is for them to kill people. Something that I noted that I said at the beginning was that 9 out of the 10 autopsies, so when somebody dies, they open the body to make sure what is the cause of death. 9 out of the 10 people that have died is because of some new illicit drugs, right? So this goes to show that, experiencing only takes you so much. And something that I want to take away from this workshop is that take care of yourself. Don't let yourself be influenced by other people that are doing the wrong things. You know yourself better than anybody else. You know what is good, what is bad, what is right from wrong. So making sure that you follow the correct path. And always visualize yourself in the future. Like you don't want to be one of those homeless people that you're just, consuming drugs outside, or, people that have cuts all over their body, or people that have infection in their feet, people that cannot walk properly because of the bad decisions that they have done. So making sure that you're following your heart, being yourself authentically, and that you have the right support system, and that when you're with people that are not the right one for you, take a step back, evaluate yourself, and then just continue. Okay?
Yeah, and feed the homeless.
And feed the homeless. Be like, yeah, I love that. But yeah, Naraya, let me know when you do that again, because I'll be interested in doing that with my sister.
Okay.
Yes. So guys, have a great night. Be safe. And send me a text if you need anything. Naraya, I already sent you the assignments. Make sure that you submit it by today so I can send it to my coworker. Okay?
Okay.
Any
I will.
questions? Anything?
No.
Okay. So be safe, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, miss.